Hey there and welcome back to Tactical Breach Wizards. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of this completionist walkthrough on hard difficulty with health cut in half. Last time we left off, after completing Dal's anxiety dream, we guided our rebel riot priest through enemies and emotional baggage alike, we dug deeper into her understanding of life and death, and eventually unlocked the Shields Down achievement, as well as the Blind Faith perk, allowing Dal to swap positions with targets she can't even see. Now, in today's episode, which is actually video number 900 on this channel, we will continue with the game's main story. However, because it is video number 900, I thought I'd do something a little different and take on a sponsor for today's episode, so allow me to introduce to you South Pole Bebop. If you're a fan of tactical turn-based combat, which I assume you are considering you're watching this video, this game might interest you. Behind the cute graphics lies what can best be described as Into the Breach-like gameplay with a focus on multiplayer PvP combat and deck-building mechanics. It's currently in early access, but what I've played so far definitely intrigued me. Each match pits you against another player. Again, the focus here is online multiplayer, but you can also take on the AI, which is actually quite capable. However, you're not just going up against this opponent, but also have to defend against a hostile third party, the zombies, who react and shift their aggression towards the two players based on how they're fought, so you'll need to balance your approach. On top of all that, you also need to build yourself a deck of power-up and ability cards, which you can customize for each match, unlocking more powerful options over time. These cards can be played mid-match to enhance your units, offering in-match progression and another layer of strategic depth. Finally, perhaps the best thing about South Pole Bebop, the game is completely free to play on Steam right now. And while I was initially skeptical of microtransactions, the developers assured me that their in-game monetization plans did not include any pay-to-win or pay-to-progress features. So if that sounds interesting to you, then follow the link in the description and the comments to check out South Pole Bebop. And with that, let's jump back in. Our 5 wizard heroes are fresh off of the train into Mideel, and together with local resistance leader Moss, we are now discussing the next steps in our plan to fight Reactor. Alright, we're on foot from here. Reactor have taken Villa Mideel, railroads in are cut off. We need a defensible position while we wait for backup to take back the villa and transport on to the reserve. Do we need the villa? Well, we'd quite like our seat of government back, but apart from the symbolic significance, it's the nerve center of our national defense systems. Reactor needed to assault the reserve, we needed back to stop them. Are the council okay? Yeah, we moved them to bunkers last week when we saw this brewing. So what's the plan? Fort Osprey. It's an old World War IV bunker on the cliffs. Reactor took it yesterday and started moving craft coffins in there. I mean, you know we're gonna ask. Craft coffins? It's what we're calling Reactor's super soldier tech. You'll get it when you see them. Regular grunt gets in, 100 needles pump modified mana into their blood, and they come out 6 hours later with superpowers and stage 4 cancer. We've done autopsies. It's a horror show in there. Wrecking their stockpile of these is a chance we can't pass up. It's well defended, but I've been looking forward to seeing your breach and clear skills firsthand. Don't get your hopes up. Don't mind him, we're game. Alright, let's move. First time partnering with my own murderer. Not my first time partnering with a mark. How about hunting a former client? Betrayal can't be great for business. Loyalty is a mug's game. Make it worth my while to help you and you can take that to the bank. And taking out lives worth your while? Letting your killer walk ain't great for your rep either. Can't imagine what it'll do for yours. Are you trying to persuade me to kill you? Nah, not worth your while yet. And I'll be gone before it is. Alright, we're up. Alright, and with that, welcome to Fort Osprey. Upon breaching here, we are immediately greeted by 3 of the aforementioned craft coffins, and of course we have some enemies in the room as well, 2 shotgunners and 2 trackers. Important to note, destroying a craft coffin will stun all units in a 1-tile radius around it, a fact that we might be able to use to complete Zan's confidence goal of finishing the level without letting any enemies attack. Ryan also wants to deal 8 points of damage with a Spore Bomb, but let's take things one step at a time. Immediately after breaching, we set up a Predictive Bolt with Zan, then move Ryan over here to the side and pull the Shotgunner into it with Impaling Vine. Afterwards, we drop the Spore Bomb on Shotgunner, Tracker and Craft Coffin, 3 targets, so 4 points of damage per target, completing Ryan's goal. With Zan's 1 point of mana then, we can send out his False Prophet to open the security door and complete our first of 2 objectives, and with that door now open, we can shoot the tracker out of it to eliminate them and finish the first of 4 levels in this mission, nice and easy. Thought you were taking the west door. I'm avoiding Ryan. Act like we're talking tactics. You've got beef? 3 minutes into the op? Didn't track you as the type, Veska. Look, I'm just not in a place to defend my worldview right now. And he's needling me. Figuratively this time. So you're gonna change your breach based on the pre-breach company? Not proud of it, but I need to focus and you're a comforting presence. That's not how people usually feel. Not your enemies, sure. Not strangers generally, even on our side. Why? I'm blunt, I'm a killer, and I'm a figurehead. Plenty to pick from. The first 2 are what you want in a fight. Can't speak to figurehead, but you're a born leader. That takes clarity. I can step up when I have to, but people smell the doubt on me a mile off. Doubt's good for plans. Once you have one, show resolve. Okay, how? Maybe don't futz with breach positions and blow the damn door. Right, now for level 2 we are once again going achievement hunting here. Only 2 enemies to start off, but more will come, and because Dal's confidence goal is easy to complete, it's Ryan's we're focusing on. He wants to add 4 points of brittle damage to a single attack, and that takes a little prep work. First things first though, we can charge with Dal once and twice to eliminate the heavy gunner, then charge once more to grab the intel in the corner, and finally use her move to grab another intel patch over here. Then it's Ryan's turn, who can breach, move in to grab some intel of his own, and then steal the mana from Dal to get him up to 2 points, halfway there. The Shotgunner then a quick takedown thanks to Impaling Vine, and we can already end the turn with Zan moving in to overwatch the reinforcement door on the right here. That gets rid of a Shotgunner, but we still have to deal with a Reactor Super Heavy, and we can't use Ryan's Brittle attack just yet. Still, we can use his Impaling Vine, which also adds 1 point of Brittle, so let's do that, then move Dal into position, get Zan ready for the Predictive Bolt, and charge. A second charge then finishes our target off, and Dal can charge away again, while Ryan still has all of his mana and can now add 1 more point by stealing from Zan. Zan himself, meanwhile, can resupply immediately, and that ends our turn. Up next, we've got another heavy gunner incoming. Now, this is the target for Ryan's confidence goal, however, we actually want to go beyond the 4 points of Brittle up to 5 to unlock an achievement. The way we do that is by stealing 1 more point of mana from Zan, then using Impaling Vine to get him out of the way, before a second Vine adds the first point of Brittle to the gunner. That is then followed by 4 more from Ryan's Brittle ability, and all that is left to do now is to charge the gunner, which unlocks the Thin Ice achievement. Zan also remains unharmed, and so we can end the turn by once again moving him into the perfect spot to eliminate reinforcements with Predictive Bolt. Our final enemy is then another Super Heavy, and once again we can't stack them up with Brittle, but we also don't need to. Zan can set up yet another Predictive Bolt, Dal can swap positions with our target, Ryan then applies 1 point of Brittle with Impaling Vine, and that's all we need. Time to charge. And there we go, 2 more confidence goals completed, an achievement unlocked. Let's move on to the next level. That was an ominous noise. Shield generators. Saw reactor testing them in Liboli. Like the drones on the train? No, those were barrier drones. Different concept. That sounds incredibly similar. Shield generators grant personal shielding, a tight energy field around the body that makes you tougher, whereas barrier obviously means a lateral wall that's impenetrable in one direction. Since when are you a military nerd? I'm an etymology nerd. You don't get fine medicine treating related terms like the synonyms. Alright, nerd. What can we do about them? I imagine with the right weapons and tactics, 2 capable wizards could pile on enough damage to punch through heavy shielding before it regenerates. But since it's us, I suggest you just go and turn them off. Reactor love an off switch, huh? I think that track record with automated friendly fire has something to do with it. Ready when you are. Okay, so we are introduced to shield generators, very clearly an entirely different thing to barriers. As you can see, shields add additional hit points to all enemy units, which can either be brute forced through or simply removed by turning off all generators. Obviously, our approach will be the latter, as brute forcing this could take a while, and thanks to Jen's confidence goal, we only have 2 turns. Banks also wants to transfer 4 points of damage at once, not terribly difficult I think, so let's get to it. Jen moves first, and of course, not even a shield protects you from being pushed out the window, and with the bonus move she can then move to the window herself and deactivate the first shield generator. Using Broom Breach, we can also quickly get over to the second one, and with that disabled, she can use the second Broom Breach charge to grab the intel and then Gale Grenade herself to make it to generator number 3. So far so good, that's all shields down. The 3 enemies in the room, meanwhile, we won't be able to eliminate on this turn, so let's do the next best thing and work on Dessa's confidence goal. By casting Transference on the shotgunner here, we'll make sure they eliminate themselves, and in doing so, they will still push her back far enough to break line of sight with the heavy gunner. That means that on the enemy turn, we remain entirely unharmed and can now deal with these last 2 enemies. And, well, 2 Death's Doors will get us there, one for the gunner, one for the shotgunner, and then Jen can launch a chain bolt to hit them both. The shotgunner is not quite defeated just yet, but Jen has 1 more Gale Grenade to spare, and with that the level is complete. You hear that too? Shield generators. They're very different to barrier drones, Zan. Makes sense. Personal shielding as opposed to spatial barricades, right? God damn it, can everyone stop getting this so easily? I get it, but I'm not amped about it. This is already a room full of walking tanks. Then it's a good job there's 5 of us. Alright, now things get interesting. No reinforcements on this one, but 3 heavy gunners and a super heavy, and they're all further protected by shields powered by 4 generators. To make matters more complicated, Zan wants us to use 16 different abilities in 1 turn. That 1 turn is also all we have, thanks to Jen, and Ryan wants to deal 20 damage with a single Spore Bomb. So then, this could get tricky. Let's breach with Jen, deactivate the first generator, and then shoot the heavy gunner here to get a bonus move. Using that, we move to the window here to Broom Breach over to the second generator, and then, once it's deactivated, use a Gale Grenade for some extra movement, with which we want to position ourselves as close to our enemies as possible. With Dal, we then breach on the other door, move in and grab the intel, while Zan loops around the side here and sets up a predictive bolt at Dal's position. Our Riot Priest then swaps with one of the gunners, who immediately gets shot, giving Zan some mana that he can now use to time boost both Jen and Dal. In addition, Jen's second Gale Grenade now also affects both her and Dal, which will be enough to disable the 2 remaining generators, one with Jen and the other with a move and charge combo from Dal. At this point, we are also up to 7 unique abilities used, so let's add to that by moving in Ryan and Dessa, who can both begin their turns by grabbing some intel. Banks then sedates the gunner closest to her to make them a bit more movable, while Ryan steals Dessa's mana and uses his Rabid Bite to get all the way over to the Super Heavy. From this position, he can now pull the gunner here closer and then apply 2 points of Brittle to the Super Heavy. Afterwards, we move back to Banks, who can cast Transference to protect Ryan at the expense of the gunner by the windows, and with everything set up, we can now launch a Spore Bomb at 4 targets, Ryan included, which means 5 points of damage per target for a total of 20, completing Ryan's confidence goal and unlocking the Mushroom Cloud achievement. We are also up to 14 different abilities used and can quickly make that 15 by entering and exiting cover with Ryan here, and so all that's left now are the 3 hit points from the Super Heavy. A 3-bolt burst from Zan gets those down to 1 and also completes his confidence goal, and so we can now use Ryan's second Spore Bomb to finish the job, and with that, the mission to secure Fort Osprey. Alright, time to spend some more perk points, this time with Zan, Dessa and Dal. Starting with Zan, we'll grab Supportive Fire, allowing him to shoot a teammate's target once per turn for free. Not super powerful in terms of damage, but we're grabbing this mostly for achievement purposes. Similar reasoning then behind the Overreaction perk for Dessa. Casting Transference now applies 1 point of Unsteady to the victim, perhaps useful to unlock 1 or 2 more achievements. In last episode's Anxiety Dream, we saw how useful it can be for Dal to be able to swap positions with objects like her Riot Shield, so let's give her that perk now. This will definitely increase her mobility. In terms of outfits, we've got 2 new ones. Dal unlocks Broadwave, and after completing her Anxiety Dream, she now also has access to the Ascender outfit, provided we gain enough confidence points. Ryan, meanwhile, goes Toxic, and he definitely needs plenty of confidence to pull this one off. And with that new look, we will now have one more conversation about the next steps. This'll do nicely. The rest of our people will be here by morning, and they'll take the lead on the Villa Op. That gives us some time to talk counter-heist. The rest of Mideel sees this invasion as an extinction-level event, and I can't say for sure it's not. But it's my job to think 5 moves ahead, and I think it might be the best chance we've ever had to secure lasting peace in Mideel. And it all comes down to your mana-burning friend, Bori Kesh. Well, that's us f***ed. Maybe, but let's start simple. When Kennedy hits the reserve, will she bring him? Oh, for sure. She's a caster down without me, she can't afford to bench the crew she's got left. Great, so we get him in the building for free. But the real target is the mines. They're directly below the building. We just need to figure out how we get him down there. Dal, could you swap him down there somehow? What's the distance? Well, we don't know what floor Kesh will be on, but not less than 200 meters. Is that less than 100 feet? It's vastly more. Then I'm out. Can we just beat him up and drag him? There's a lot to go wrong on a forced extraction, even on a clear day. Doing one mid-heist feels like handing the devil a lot of our dice. And you can't knock him out, he's gotta be sharp to do his thing. So could we blow out the floor? The bottom floor? Probably, but there are 25 others he could be on. And he's not likely to stay conscious after a drop like that. So what if Liv had a reason to send him there? Interesting. What's his skill set? Burning mana. Okay, well, their main objective is to secure the mana, so I don't love it yet. Wait, that's not all. In Kalen, she sent him to block off chapel reinforcements. We helped him do it. Do you have secret reinforcement tunnels leading into the mines? No. Damn. But Kennedy doesn't have to know that. Well, this is good. I can work with this. Volan, did Control let that courier get intercepted yet? Later tonight. Ask them to hold off a couple hours. I'm gonna draw up some defense plans for these imaginary tunnels. I want them added to the packet before Reactor finds it. A deal. A quick note here, no matter which dialogue option you pick, the result will always be the same. And how are we gonna get Bori to actually light it up? Problem for another night. I've got maps to make, everyone else should get some rest. Tomorrow, we take back Mideel. Alright then, with the final mission fast approaching, let's update our little map here, which is actually getting quite large now. We have made contact with the Mideel militia to fend off Reactor's takeover of the small island nation, and together with our new allies we have taken Fort Osprey, a strategically useful stronghold, and from now on our base of operations. Our next destination is then, however, Villa Mideel, the political and military seat of control, and therefore of immense strategic value. Unfortunately, it has already fallen into Reactor's hands, so kicking them out will have to be our next move. Why? Well, because Mideel's defense network is controlled from the Villa, and since this defense network also extends to the mana mines, gaining control of it is of vital importance for us, as well as for Reactor, who will surely not hand it over willingly. So that's the big picture for now. We are getting closer to the series finale, but a few things are still left to come, and of course I hope you join me for the rest of the journey. For today, let's make the cut at this point. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.